Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 4 of Life After Prep, and wow, what a busy day. I am exhausted. I almost wasn't going to record this. It is 6:34, Wednesday the 5th of February, and I have been up since 5 a.m, I'm going to say, and I haven't stopped running until now. This is the first time I've sat down today. That's crazy. Actually crazy now I think about it. Now I know when I go, like I get home some days and I'll pull my shoes off and look at my feet and my ankles are all swollen and puffy. Does anyone else get that? Yeah, I think it's because I'm standing so much. It doesn't help my circulation because the blood never actually gets back up to my heart. So anyway, yeah, today's been fun. I've got Shelley, my girlfriend, staying in town, and client, of course. And we've been getting in some solid workouts the last few days. And it's been quite an enjoyable few days. So what do we do? Oh, the best thing I wanted to tell you about this week was, we had the Super Bowl. So we had quite a few different parties to pop into and to go and spend some time at. And also, I went to Bern's Steakhouse. Now, that probably means absolutely nothing to most of you because most of you don't live in Tampa. But I've heard people talk about it, and Steakhouse to me doesn't like jump out as being an amazing place to go and eat at. I'm like, oh, it's a steak, cool. I like a good steak, I definitely do. But I guess my usual, like if I'm ticking off boxes to decide where I'm going to eat, it's probably not like, okay, number one, it's got to be a steakhouse. Like, that's not really how I roll. It's more like, what's the atmosphere like? Is there going to be music? Is there going to be a lot of people there? Is there a nice water view? Am I going to get a sunset? Am I going to sing to me? Like, I don't know. So anyway, enough people have said, you should go to the Bern Steakhouse because of the dessert room. So that was like, what the heck? So this place is like medieval decor. You go in and it's like red and dark and like kind of eerie and very old fashioned. But anyway, you walk through. This place is booked out for like months and months and months at a regular time. Our reservation on a Sunday night was 9:30, and that's only because it was a Super Bowl. I looked at like all the other weekends and weekdays, like Monday night, Tuesday night, 11:30 p.m. or 11 o'clock is their latest booking, and that was it. You could go at 11:30 or it was not available. So Lane and I had our early Valentine's Day together on Sunday because we will be together on Valentine's Day, but we are also going to be with a bunch of other people and won't get to have that special day. It's just another day, so we did ours early. And food was really cool. They had 6,500 bottles of wine, or types of wine, I guess, or somewhere in that realm. I guess it's not exactly 6,500 because who's counting? But it's a lot of wine regardless. And their menu was like a novel. So I was like, Lane, I'm really bad with the decisions, so we're going to be here for a while. So I'm looking through. The waiter was really cool. He gave you like 3 recommendations based on like your preference of red or white, type of wine you like, and then like 3 different price brackets. So you got to try them all. And I reckon I must have been tipsy after the first pour. But had a really nice dinner, got like a 17-ounce steak. We shared it, got all of the good stuff to go with it. I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, there's so much to track. I'm just thinking about the macros. And anyway, I was like, oh, well, I can manage that component. That's easy enough to track, because it's all kind of served individually. And then, like, of course, we're going to go and do the dessert room upstairs. It's like they're famous for. And it's also a novel. Like, I swear to God, it was like this many desserts. So I'm just like, oh, do I have all of them? We got a taste tester. So we got like a plate of 5, and they're all like, I don't know, decent portions. Like, I did still feel really satisfied after I had them. And they had like a chocolate tart, a banana mousse, like mini tart, a carrot cake with chocolate, and New York cheesecake, and a macadamia cheesecake. And they were all so delicious. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh man. So because I already knew I was way over my calories, and you were going to die when you see what I ate over the weekend, then I was like, oh, well, like, I want to try some more. I'm here. I'm probably not going to ever come back. So let's just enjoy this experience for what it is and not worry about the calories. So we ended up ordering like another dessert, which was this cheesecake. And it was like a white blondie. So if anyone bakes, like, you know, brownie, a blondie is the white chocolate equivalent of a chocolate brownie. So blondie on the bottom, cookies and cream cheesecake, like rich, real deal cheesecake. None of my fat-free bullshit, which is, by the way, still very good, but not as, like, you know what I'm saying. Like, when you eat real sugar, it's like, ah. So cookies and cream cheesecake and another layer of blondie, like, topped in just goodness. And then it's served with, like, an ice cream sandwich, again, with, like, brownie, chocolate brownie this time on the outside, and, like, chocolate mousse all over the plate. And it was pretty good. So went home, rolled home actually, because I was so full. And we'd also been at Super Bowl and had a few drinks at some of the parties. And I was like, fuck, I really should, excuse my French, I should probably track this. So just to humour myself. So I have a bit of an idea about whether it is realistic for me to try and make some of that up this week. Whether it was just so obnoxious and piggish like that I should just probably forget about it and just start the week fresh. So it was pretty disgusting. And I even thought, like, I tracked some of it in like days where I was really low in calories over the weekend, because I hit my targets until probably Saturday. And then I had a couple of low, Saturday actually was very low. So I was like, oh, well, I can probably add some of that to that day to bring that day up, and let's see how this all balances out. It was disgusting. So we'll go and have a look at what I really ate this week, and we'll talk about my weight and how I kind of handled that, because this is stuff that people experience in day-to-day life. You know, you're invited out to a dinner. Maybe you, like, I've had a few clients of mine actually where they've gone to like a Michelin star restaurant. You're not going there to select the fat-free whatever or the low-calorie version. You're going there to experience the smorgasbord of tastes, pairings with food, pairings with wine, and it's like a degustation. Like, you have 10 courses served to you. Some of them you have no idea what you're eating and they taste amazing, but it's all about the experience, the company that you were with, and just having a good time. And like, the last thing you want to really be doing is like sitting down and, like, especially in a degustation like that, you don't want to be tracking macros. Like, holy crap. So, like, not while you're there anyway. So my strategy, I guess, for something like that, if you are offered like an opportunity to do something like that, oh my God, like, whether you're dieting or not, that'd be a hard one for me to turn down, because I love food. You guys know that. I must say this all the time. You're probably sick of it, but I really do. So yeah, I the next day I kind of put together all those macros, and I was about, on average, I think I'm going to say about 600 calories over my targets every day for the week. Because of those calories. And also we had dinner out, I think, on Friday night as well, which was really high fat. And the waiter looked at me like when I asked him for a low fat version. It's the first time actually I've really experienced an angry waiter. I was like, what is up your ass, man? Everyone else is so pleasant here. So I just kind of was like, you know what, don't worry about it. Those scrambled eggs are probably really, really hard to make. I understand. Let's just stick with your menu, because it's really hard for you to take my order. So there was a couple of instances where I just had to actually eat what was on the menu. But most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, it's not really too much trouble to ask for a modification, especially if it's like an addition of veggies. And if they have that in their restaurant, like, there is no reason why you can't say, well, oh, I can see that you've got roasted peppers on your menu, and I can see you've got some spinach, and you've got some tomatoes. Would you mind adding those to my salad? Or can you put those on my plate as a side? I don't care how you serve them. Do whatever. I just really like to eat that. Happy to pay a bit extra. So most of the time, places are really accommodating. Same if you ask for, can you make that without any butter? Or can you prepare that without the onion? Provided it's not something that's like already pre-made. Yeah, I would encourage you to do this. If it enables you to hit your macro targets, then why not? Like, what's the worst they can say? No. And if they say yes, well, then you're winning. You're ahead. So that was my experience with Bern's. It was amazing. I was ready to ring back up and try and get an 11 p.m. reservation with Shelley, because I know Shelley likes dessert a lot. And I was like, well, it's pretty good. We could go on Thursday. And then I was like, oh, that's right. I was 600 calories over every day this week. I probably shouldn't go again. But anyway, so I guess wrapping this back up, how do I compensate for something like that? Well, I had only taken my weight a couple of times last week. So Monday I was 62.9 kilos. So that's actually awesome for me, considering I'm actually 10 weeks into this reverse diet. I know you guys are getting episode 4, but I've actually been reverse dieting for 10 weeks. I had a little bit of a breather, took a break from filming, and I have been able to increase my calories, not by as much as I would like. And that's because I have, as I've said in previous episodes, I have kind of spent a little bit of time messing around, or just not having a true answer to where my weight actually is, or having a realistic idea of what my calories were, because I was lazy. I didn't take my weight enough to know for sure whether that's a true or an accurate weigh-in, or I didn't track all of my calories correctly to the point where I can say with confidence that was what my calorie consumption was on average per week, and this was the corresponding weight. So there's been quite a few weeks where I've been missing data. So it wouldn't be sensible for me to continue just hiking my calories up when I don't really know whether those calories that I consume are actually a sufficient amount to kind of hold me steady or stay within my allowable weekly gain. So for my reverse, I'm obviously trying to be conservative. This is probably the last time that I really wanted to have to reverse diet, because I was really happy with my end of diet physique. So the goal was to try and stay really close here, but kind of reverse out and just see where I can end up whilst maintaining as much of that leanness that's reasonable. And of course, like stage lean, that's just so far off the spectrum. It's really funny, like to hear, you're in the gym months after you've been on stage, and you know how lean you can get, and someone in the gym comes up to you and they're like, you look amazing. And in your mind, you're like, I've put on like 10 pounds, but thank you. Like that's what comes out. But like, it's just, you have such a skewed perception of what normal bodies are. And like, I have to coach clients through this as well. But it's so funny, like I'll be saying this to a client and then I have to go, yeah, Holly, that's right. You just said that to her. So, you need to apply these same things to yourself. So, and I really do try to do that. But I have certainly been a little bit stricter on my reverse this time around. So getting back to it, my stage weight when I finished was 61.3 kilos. It was a little heavier than previous competitions because I had put on a lot of muscle, and I was also taking creatine for the first time. So I had a little bit more intracellular water weight, which is great. I did notice the performance improvements from starting to take that. I really found that my recovery was better, had more energy, and I did train better for a greater percentage of my preps with that. I don't know why I haven't been doing it. I didn't do it earlier. It's just I have not ever been a really good supplement girl. I just have always been so busy and just I'm happy to train. Okay, let me train, but supplements, I just don't have the time and patience for it. Even though like it's the most widely studied supplement perhaps that there ever is. There's probably been over 1,500 studies on creatine. Anyway, so 61.3 kilos was my stage weight, best I've ever looked, and I weighed in Monday at 62.9. So like a 1.5 kilo increase from stage, that's nothing. Like that's awesome for me. And what I have been very impressed with thus far is, even though I have made a few slip-ups along the road, like the last 10 weeks, there's absolutely been a few weeks where I haven't been able to increase my calories because I'm human, I have holidays. I was a lazy person on a holiday and I didn't get my weight every week, so I wasn't really sure what was happening with those calories. So I just held steady and maintained until I could, get back to access to a scale or get back to tracking as accurately as I know I can before I make an increase. So I've increased calories so far by 570 from my my last most difficult week of competition, and I've only gained 1.5 kilos, which is awesome. My training volumes have been pretty similar, so my resistance training hasn't really changed. I've modified what I've been doing. If you've been watching the series, I've made some big changes to kind of the style of programming just for a bit of a mental break. But my cardio, that I had tapered down to basically none, but then I had a few weeks of kind of overindulging. So in order to kind of get back on track to reset my reverse diet, I reintroduced a little bit of cardio because I knew that I had overconsumed, and the risk with overconsumption in a reverse diet while your metabolism is still very low, and we kind of explain all of this in this book. If you haven't got it, I would absolutely recommend going and getting yourself a copy. It is a ebook at the moment. This is special. This one is my hard cover. We will have these at the Arnolds, but I guess the risk you run when you do overconsume and your metabolism is still very low is that you will put on body fat. And I know what I wanted to get out of this reverse. So for me, it was like, well, you just wasted 2 weeks. So, all right, you're going to have to do some more cardio. Let's get back to that point where you were, and we'll continue progressing. So it's not like I did go backwards in some sense of the word, but backwards as far as time. It just means that it's going to take me longer to get my calories back up to where I would like to if I want to continue to maintain this body weight. So after Burns, got on the scales, my weight was like, I think 64.2 on Monday morning after 2 days of gluttony, and I kind of knew it. It wasn't going to be the best thing getting on the scales in the morning, but I kind of needed to have a baseline so that for this week, as I move through the week, I would be expecting to see it kind of trend back down once I get back on track with my regular macros. So that kind of leads me to what did I do this week for my targets? Well, it's another week where I don't get to take an increase. That's my choice. I could continue to increase my calories, but I also wanted to make sure that I can kind of see my weight trending back to where I want it to before I take that increase. So it's frustrating. I am my own, I shouldn't be doing this for myself because I'm not accountable to anybody, and it is really hard not having someone kind of check you. Lane is good, but we don't communicate that much about our nutrition targets. In fact, like my entire contest prep series, that when we sit down and have a chat and do my update, that's about as much as we talk about it, and I'm doing the rest. So I think it would be nice to have somebody kind of just check you every now and then, because we can kind of just end up like going like this all the time. So yeah, I mean, even as somebody that is experienced as I am and have the knowledge that I know, I'm still a person and I'm still an emotional being, and suffer those same kind of troubles. So this week I kind of went, well, I really overdid it this weekend. There's no point me trying to make up all of that, because 600 calories every day was basically what I went over. I'll show you my data in a minute. How much would I have to restrict? 600 calories every day? That's not going to happen. That would bring my targets, which were roughly 1800 calories, back down to 1200 calories for the next 7 days. And that would be really restrictive for me. That's back in contest prep. So that wasn't an option for me. I'm not going to restrict that significantly. So instead, I just reset. I was like, okay, well, you had a really nice time at Burns. You enjoyed the heck out of that. And now we'll get back on track this week. So the first few days of training, I felt like a lard running around, not because I felt like I was fat, just heavy. Like there's a lot of food. And you've got, changes in your sodium levels, changes to your fluid. I felt like my legs were quite puffy. Like I had one of my cardio sessions on Monday morning the next day. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm carrying watermelons around in my legs, because I stored so much fluid, sodium, and just the masses. So it wasn't an enjoyable experience. I can't say I'll probably ever do that again, because I felt crap for the first 3 days. It's kind of Wednesday now, and I'm only just getting back to seeing like a normal stomach. Like I'm no longer distended from eating so much. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. But like I said, I know that by Sunday, again this week, I'll be back to my pre-weight and then I'll be taking my calorie increase. So, and thankfully, God, we fly out to Australia on Monday. We have got nothing planned, certainly no Bern's experiences planned. And it'll be a very normal week. And Shelley also heads back home, so there'll be less obligations to go out and, you know, entertain and eat and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, that was my week. Basically a lot of work, a lot of updates, a lot of parties with, just on one day, Super Bowl. But a lot of good training and just enjoying the company of friends. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's go check out my data and we will finish it there. Okay guys, so just to wrap this video up, because I believe I've actually just talked about burns for a while, but it just goes to show you how much I enjoy sharing this stuff with you. So here's my protein intakes for the week. Oh, damn! Look at that beautiful compliance to my protein for the week. And then Shelley arrived on Friday and we went to Okinola, which is a cool place downtown Tampa. They do, it's actually a French American, but they do a lot of like meat. And I'm not going to say no to an amazing treat. So we had a lot of different types of meats. I think we had like roast lamb, we had roast pork, we had some kind of amazing ribeye steak. So that was realistic, but here's the kicker. So Saturday and Sunday, you can see here I had 191 and Sunday was 205. The 191 that you're looking at, that is actually me rolling 41 grams of protein from Sunday. And so that would mean that my Sunday intake was actually like 246 grams of protein. And that was primarily from that one restaurant because they just have a lot of meat. Lane and I had steak and other stuff. So yeah, that was a really nice high protein week. Eek. Where it gets really fun is my carbohydrates. So my target was 185. I had a pretty good amount during the week. I was very consistent from Monday through to Thursday. Shelley came. I actually did hit my targets on Friday for my carbohydrates. So what you are seeing here from Friday through to Sunday is my estimations from the dinner and the dessert, and we had alcohol as well at David's beer Super Bowl party, and then some wine at dinner, and that's me spreading it out over the whole weekend just because it was giving me anxiety seeing my carbohydrate in the 600s or the 500s on Sunday. So I was like, I'm just going to put that in the other days so it doesn't make me feel quite as bad. But it's going to give me the same average. It's just silly, but that's how my mind was working because I was freaking out. So yeah, 250 grams of carbs for me on average this past week. And then same thing kind of happened for fats. It was perfectly on track. Did a pretty good job on Friday. Again, I have rolled some fats. Actually, no, fat was on Friday. That was what I actually ate at the restaurant because we did eat quite a bit of protein. But then on Saturday and Sunday, what you were seeing there is me being compliant on Saturday and putting all of the fats that I actually ate on Sunday over the 2 days. Stupid. I could have just put it in Sunday and shown you how crazy that meal was. But anyway, my average for the week was 82. So if we scroll over to my compliance, I was 37% over my calories this week, which explains why my weight went from 62.9 to 64.3. But that is life. So yeah, on average, my weight for the week, because obviously I didn't weigh in heavy on Sunday, I was doing really good. But even though I had a little bit higher calories, I was still kind of on track to hold weight steady. It's just that it all happened because I kind of bunched all of that food in together on Sunday, woke up very heavy. But the expectation would be that this week, and I should probably start taking my weight and recording it for next week's video, is just showing you kind of what happens when I get back on track, because I'm not changing my targets this week. They'll stay at 1808 for my calories. I'll have 185 carbs, 52 fat, 150 protein. And I should see my weight trend back down. It's just going to take me a few days, and I'm going to feel pretty shitty whilst I'm recovering from all of that food. So yeah, this is a food baby week. It's one of those things where I guess you don't do it very often, and I didn't track on the day that I ate it, which is very unusual for me. So that was a bit of a growing curve for me, and I came out fine. And this week I will be good again. So that is that. I hope you learned something. I guess that's just kind of how I handle a enormity of food if I went over, and what I do. If it had been lower, or if I had not exceeded my targets quite so much, let's just say I exceeded my calories, let's say by 20%. So let's say I had 360 calories more than I should have. Then I potentially just try to make that up over 2 days. So 20, I have like a rule of 10, 1 day, 20%, 2 days, 30%, then I'll make it up over the next 3 days. Does that make sense? Because it would be often too difficult to try and kind of restrict so much on 1 day, because eventually you're just going to feel very hungry, and it kind of just leads to like an awful binge type behavior, which you don't want. So it can be much easier to kind of spread out your calories, or the reduction in calories, if you know you went over by a lot. But in this case, I just started fresh, got over it, enjoyed my day, woke up Monday, was like, today's going to be a good day. It was a pretty hard cardio session, but here we are, alive and well. So I think next week I will do a body composition or a physique update, because it has been a long time. So I have made a note to make sure I do that. So you can kind of see how I've progressed, where that 570 calories has gone. And you can see my stage to now body comp. And I think that's about all I have time for this week. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's update, and I will see you next week from Australia. We'll see you next time, guys.